Welcome back to Read This Next with Laura and Nicole from the Thunder Bay Public Library. This week we are doing a fun topic that we kind of hint at and say we should film for forever. We're doing books set in libraries or about libraries.
Yay! It is explicitly exactly our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
We're in it now. This is it.
Yeah, this is our forte. Yeah.
There's tons of them out there. Lots and lots to choose from. So I think all the ones we have are pretty recent titles.
Pretty much.
And yeah, and a nice little mixture of different genres for you that all happen to be about libraries.
Okay, let me see. I think I'm starting, so I will get us rolling. The first one is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. One thing any librarian will tell you: the truth is much stranger than fiction. Irene is a professional spy for the mysterious library. I feel like I can't hear you. Oh no, we're good. You're still there. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought my
It's like I'm not
internet was
making
being
any
weird.
I'm not saying anything because I'm listening.
That's a weird thought for me to have. Okay. Irene is a professional spy for the mysterious Library with a capital L, a shadowy organization that collects important works of fiction from all the different realities. Most recently, she and her enigmatic assistant, Kai, have been sent to an alternative London. Their mission: retrieve a particularly dangerous book. The problem? By the time they arrive, it's already been stolen. Dun dun dun! London's underground factions are prepared to fight to the death to find the tome before Irene and Kai do, a problem compounded by the fact that this world is chaos-infested, the laws of nature bent to allow supernatural creatures and unpredictable magic to run rampant. To make matters worse, Kai is hiding something. Secrets that could be just as volatile as the chaos-filled world itself. Now Irene is caught in a puzzling web of deadly danger, conflicting clues, and sinister secret societies. Those are some good alliterations.
I was going to say that is some serious.
I love it.
Someone in the publishing house was like, I've got it.
Oh yeah, they're like,
This
nailed
is
it.
what we're doing.
Nailed it. Yeah. And failure is not an option because it isn't just Irene's reputation at stake, it's the nature of reality itself.
Of course it is.
Yeah, of course. And I think that one's a series, is it not?
Yes, it says book 1, I think. So, yeah.
So good. Fantasy set in about libraries, collecting.
Supernatural.
Oh,
chaos.
Yeah. I have to read it. I'm surprised.
You'll have to report back.
Yes, I will.
Sounds good. Okay. Next one is called The Starless C, and this is just a single book. It's by Erin Morgenstern, which you might remember from like a really, really crazy best-selling book it was several years ago now, maybe like a decade ago. Oh boy. Several years. The Night Circus. Anyway, that book of hers was really popular. And so this one is about a library. Zachary Ezra Rollins is a graduate student in Vermont when he discovers a mysterious book hidden in the stacks. As he turns the pages, entranced by tales of lovelorn prisoners, key collectors, and nameless acolytes, he reads something strange, a story from his own childhood. It's delightfully creepy.
Yeah.
Bewildered by this inexplicable book and desperate to make sense of how his own life came to be recorded, Zachary uncovers a series of clues: a bee, a key, and a sword that lead him to a masquerade party in New York, to a secret club, and through a doorway to an ancient library hidden far below the surface of the earth. Yeah! What Zachary finds in this curious place is more than just a buried home for books and their guardians. It is a place of lost cities and seas, lovers who pass notes under doors and across time, and of stories whispered by the dead. Zachary learns of those who have sacrificed much to protect this realm, relinquishing their sight and their tongues to preserve this archive, and also of those who are intent on its destruction. Together with Mirabelle, a fierce pink-haired protector of the place, and Dorian, a handsome barefoot man with shifting alliances, Zachary travels the twisting tunnels, darkened stairwells, crowded ballrooms, and sweetly soaked shores of this magical world, discovering his purpose in both the mysterious book and his own life. That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like there's so many opportunities for it to go different ways in this one.
It sounds really good. I do think it's very strange that of these two characters, there were like, okay, one descriptive and then one physical descriptor, fierce and pink haired, and the other one, handsome, also barefoot.
He's handsome and no shoes.
I mean, I feel like there's probably a lot of other things they could have included, but that's what they went with.
I
Okay.
guess that's his defining factor is he's like, I just don't like shoes.
I just don't like shoes.
That'll probably
Um,
be a plot line.
it's got to be. There's got to be some meaning to it somewhere. But
Mm-hmm.
he's so handsome, you don't even mind that he doesn't wear shoes, I guess. I don't
Maybe he
know.
wears
You'd have to
socks.
be really handsome,
Yeah, yeah. Just be like, the
or
heck?
you'd have like grubby feet walking around the ballrooms in towns. I mean, anyway, eh, dirty feet aside,
We're stuck on the feet.
it sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah, it does. Okay, our next one is oh wait, no. I think I was supposed to skip down. I'll go down to it. Okay, the next one is The Magic Fish by Trung Lee Nguyen. Um
It is a graphic.
yes, it's a graphic novel. The cover is gorgeous. That's what I was just looking at. It's got, for those of you who are listening, it's got like a beautiful mermaid um on the back, and in the front is a young boy with glasses like reading. I really like it. Okay. Tien loves his family and friends, but Tien has a secret that he's been keeping from them. It might just change anything. Everything, not anything. Real life isn't a fairy tale, but Tien still enjoys reading his favorite stories with his parents from the books he borrows from the local library. It's hard enough trying to communicate with your parents as a kid, but for Tien, he doesn't even have the right words because his parents are struggling with their English. Is there a Vietnamese word for what he's going through? Is there a way to tell him that he's gay? A beautifully illustrated story by Trung Lee Nguyen that follows a young boy as he tries to navigate life through fairy tales, an instant classic that shows us how we are all connected. The magic fish oh, I'm struggling here. I had hit that other one with the alliteration was good, and this one hits me with tackles tough, and I'm struggling. Ay ay ay. The magic fish tackles tough subjects in a way that in a way that's accessible with readers of all ages and teaches us that no matter what, we can all have our own happy endings. That one sounds
Charming.
very sweet. Yeah.
Very sweet. Charming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a YA graphic, but it sure sounds like an all ages type of
Mm-hmm.
read.
Definitely.
Mm. Okay, so then my next one is The Paris Library.
Mm.
So we had two fantasy, and then we had one like realistic graphic novel, and now we have a historical. It's by Janet Skilsian Charles, based on the true World War II story of the heroic librarians at the American Library in Paris.
Ooh.
Paris, 1939. Young and ambitious, Odile Suchet has it all, her handsome police officer beau, and a dream job at the American Library in Paris. When the Nazis march into Paris, Odile stands to lose everything she holds dear, including her beloved library. Together with her fellow librarians, Odile joins the resistance with the best weapon she has, books. But when the war finally ends, instead of freedom, Odile tastes the bitter sting of unspeakable betrayal. Montana, 1983. Lily is a lonely teenager looking for an adventure in small town Montana. Her interest is piqued by her solitary elderly neighbor. As Lily uncovers more about her neighbor's mysterious past, she discovers that they share a love of language, the same longings, and the same intense jealousy, never suspecting that a dark secret from the past connects them. The same intense jealousy. I wasn't expecting
Mm-hmm.
that. A powerful novel that explores the consequences of our choices and the relationships that make us who we are, family, friends, and favorite authors. The Paris Library shows us that extraordinary heroism can sometimes be found in the quietest of places.
That sounds very sweet. I will say that is a dream most librarians have, library texts included, is to save your beloved library. Library of Alexandria gets us all riled up just a little bit.
It's true. It's true. I think I said that character's name right, but I might have been wrong.
We
Would you
run
have said
into that a
Odile?
lot. Yeah, you said
I,
Odile.
is that what you would have said?
Here, let me look at it.
I think it's Odile, but I might have just made that up.
That looks right. Odile?
It's also French,
Odile?
right? So I
Yeah.
could be wrong. Anyway, check it out. It sounds good. I kind of like those historical, like, oh, what is happening in the past is affecting
Hmm.
the present. It does have a thing saying like it's a read alike if you liked Lilac Girls, which
Yep.
I know many people did, including me.
There's a lot of people in the completely booked book bag program that I run for teenagers who like historical fiction, and this is right up their alley.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm. Okay. Our next one is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. Widower Makesh lives a quiet life in the London borough of Ealing after losing his beloved wife. He shops every Wednesday, goes to temple, and worries about his granddaughter Priya, who hides in her room reading while he spends evenings watching nature documentaries.
Sounds fine.
Yeah, sounds great. Alicia is a bright but anxious teenager working at the local library for the summer when she discovers a crumpled up piece of paper in the back of To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a list of novels that she's never heard of before. Intrigued and a little bored with her slow job at the checkout desk, she impulsively decides to read every book on the list one after the other. As each story gives up its magic, the books transport Alicia from the painful realities she's facing at home. When Mukesh arrives at the library, desperate to forge a connection with his bookworm granddaughter, Alicia passes along the reading list, hoping that it will be a lifeline for him too. Slowly, the shared books create a connection between two lonely souls as fiction helps them escape their grief and everyday troubles and find joy again. That sounds very sweet.
It
It
just
sounds like a very like a heartwarming cry.
sounds so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do feel a little bit like if someone came to me at the library and was like, I would like to forge a connection with my bookworm granddaughter, I'd say, ask her what to read.
Yeah. What's she reading?
But still, this sounds really nice. It just sounds really
Yeah.
nice.
Very sweet.
Mhm. Okay, our next one is another contemporary. It's called The Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson. June Jones, fun and
Classic name.
alliterative. June Jones emerges from her shell to fight for her beloved local library, and through the efforts and support of an eclectic group of library patrons, she discovers life changing friendships along the way. Lonely librarian June Jones has never left the sleepy English. I don't know what kind of village I was going to say it was, but the sleepy English village where she grew up. Shy and reclusive, the 30-year-old would rather spend her time buried in books than venture out into the world. But when her library is threatened with closure, June is forced to emerge from behind the shelves to save the heart of her community and the place that holds the dearest memories of her mother. Joining a group of eccentric yet dedicated locals in a campaign to keep the library, June opens herself up to the other people for the first time since her mother died. It just so happens, that her old school friend Alex Chen is back in town and
Oh.
willing to lend a helping hand. The kind-hearted lawyer's feelings for her are obvious to everyone but June, who won't believe that anyone could ever care for her in that way. To save the place and the books that mean so much to her, June must finally make some changes to her life. For once, she's determined not to go down without a fight. And maybe in fighting for her cherished library, June can save herself too.
Aw, that one's another sweet one. A little bit of
Yes, sounds sweet.
romance. I will say, oh, sorry, you looked like you had something to say.
No, no, carry
Okay.
on.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's interesting to see how libraries are incorporated into books because and maybe this is reading too much into it, but it feels like that's the different ways that libraries like impact people is you're seeing, well, this person thinks of them as this magical place. This person sees them as a safe haven. Like I like it. I like it.
This is quite nice. Um,
Hmm.
I actually don't have a thematic rec this week, so I'm just going to do another highlight for
Yes,
us, and
please.
then Nicole will do her rec.
Hmm.
Okay, so this one is called The Dark Library
Ooh.
by Sorel Martinez, translated by Joseph Patrick Stansel. In Cyril
Uh,
Martinez's library, the books are alive. Not just their ideas or their stories, but the books themselves. Meet the angry young book who has strong opinions about who reads what and why. He's tired of people reading bestsellers, so he places himself on the desks of those who might appreciate him. Meet the old historian who mysteriously vanished from the stacks. Meet the blue librarian, the mauve librarian, the yellow librarian, and spend a day with the red librarian trying to banish coffee cups and laptops. Then one day there are no empty desks anywhere in the great library. A great horde of student workers has descended, and they will scan every single book in the library, the much borrowed, the neglected, the popular, the obscure. What will happen to the library then? Will it still be necessary? The Dark Library is a theoretical fiction, a meditation on what libraries mean in our digital world. Has the act of reading changed? What is a reader? A book? Martinez, a librarian himself, has written a love letter to the urban forest of the dark, wild library where ideas and stories roam free.
Ooh, that one sounds like if you're a librarian, you're really gonna appreciate it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'll go into my rec. So my
Hmm.
rec is kind of it's a nonfiction actually. So it's called Dear Fahrenheit 451, Love and Heartbreak in the Stacks by Annie Spence. I'll read you the description because it's gonna do a better job than I will. Okay. A Gen X librarian's snarky, laugh out loud, funny, deeply moving collection of love letters and breakup notes to the books in her life. Librarians spend their lives weeding, not weeds, but books. Books that have reached the end of their shelf life, both literally and figuratively. They remove the books that patrons no longer check out, and they put books back that they treasure, that our patrons treasure, and us. Annie Spence, who has a decade of experience as a Midwestern librarian, does this not only at her Michigan library, but also her home, for her neighbors, at cocktail parties, everywhere. In this book, she addresses those books directly. We read her love letters to the Goldfinch and Matilda, as well as her snarky breakups with 50 Shades of Grey and Dear John. And she comments on everything. So, in my description, for those of you that don't know, weeding is an unfortunate but necessary part of our job,
Hmm.
where we look at our collection and we say what is or isn't serving our public anymore.
Yep.
And we make room for new and amazing books to be put on our shelves that you guys will love and enjoy. So
Yeah,
it's necessary, but
it is. It's
yeah,
painful.
it's painful. None of us enjoy it because we're big book lovers, but it was so cute reading through. They're very short chapters, and it'll just be like talking about how she's breaking up with the book Gray, which is 50 Shades, but from Christian's perspective. And she's like, I don't know why everybody recommends this book to me. They all go, have you read it? It's from Christian's perspective, as if I've never heard of it before. And she talks about old books, she talks about young books. One of them, she's like, oh, the Goldfinch, I love you so much, but your spine is cracked and no glue is gonna fix you. And then I think Matilda, she's like, you're missing the entire portion of your book that introduces Trunchbull, and that's an essential part to your narrative. So unfortunately, you will be going. But she talks about where she's donating them, why they're leaving, how they don't deserve to be stored on the back of someone's toilet at a party. And it's very sweet, and it's a cute look into like how you keep books and why you keep them and why it's time to get rid of them. And I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It's nice to see a cute spin on a portion of our job that like kind of is hurts.
Yes, that is a downer, certainly.
Hmm.
Necessary, but yeah, necessary but painful.
Yeah, yeah. So there's something for everybody in there. I didn't read all of them because not all of them. I haven't read all of the books in there. So
Right.
pick it up, read the ones that you've got a connection with, and maybe stick around for some of her fun ones. But she has recommendations for read alikes in the back. So if you liked
Okay.
this book, try this book, and things like that. It's really cute. I liked it. Yeah.
Well, very nice. Finish off our library episode with some nonfiction.
Oh, and if you wanted, we did add three to the end. If you want to tell them what they are.
Sure. If you want to, there, what we do is try to think of if there's other books that we've mentioned before that fit a theme, if there's ones that come to mind, and there certainly were. So
Mm-hmm.
we have from one of the podcast stars. writer Sarah Gailey. We've got Upright Woman Wanted, which was a historical one set in the is it a future?
I thought
No.
it was like the Wild West.
Yeah, historical.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's a historical in the American Southwest of like traveling librarians.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which
Yep.
is about evil sorcerers and
So
someone who
good.
grew up in a magic library.
Yeah.
And then we have The Midnight Library, which is by Matt Haig, which is about a library where each shelf has like a different one of your parallel lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I
those are
think
other ones that we've mentioned in the past. And I know there's a couple more
I
as
think it's
well.
Library of the Dead, and that's
That,
one where
that
is that
sounds
right?
that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's like about this book that you can pick up different books at the library, and there's people's lives in them, and you can like chat with them and see them. But
Yeah,
there's a few. We're missing a few. We talk about libraries in these
we do.
episodes all the time.
They come up a lot.
They
They come up a
do.
lot.
Hi, Nicole in editing here. Just wanted to clarify that the book I'm actually talking about here isn't Library of the Dead. Library of the Dead is by T.L. Huchu, and I'll read you the description real quick. We have talked about this one before as well. We've talked about so many library books. When a child goes missing in Edinburgh's darkest streets, young Ropa investigates. She'll need to call on Zimbabwean magic as well as her Scottish pragmatism to hunt down clues. But as shadows lengthen, will the hunter become the hunted? So basically, this young girl, Ropa, drops out of school. She becomes a ghost talker and starts to solve mysteries and, finds an occult library. Very cute. But the one I was thinking of was A Borrowed Man by Gene Wolfe. And like I was saying in the description, it's about a person who goes to a library where they've basically made robots and clones of real people. So this one person named Colette, her father has passed, so she decides that she's going to check out a book, which is a clone of a deceased mystery writer in order to find out who killed her father so that he might have some insight into how the killers um, uh, operating, I guess. And then the last one that we have talked about was The Library at the Edge of the World by Felicity Hayes McCoy. So local librarian Hannah Casey is wondering where it all went wrong. Driving her mobile library van through Finn Farron's farms and villages, she tries not to think about the sophisticated London life she left uh, when she left her cheating husband, or now that she's stuck in her mom's crotchety spare room. Yeah, so it's a fan for fans of Maeve Binchy. Very good. Back to it.
Yeah.
And I'll also share a link to there's a web comic about libraries written by a librarian. It's been running a really long time. It's called Unshelved.
I read
And
that one.
yeah, and it's very fun and cute. So I'll put the link there, but you could also find it, just Google Unshelved comic and you will definitely find it.
That being said, I'll wrap us up. Thank you
Yes.
everybody for watching. You can always catch our show notes like Laura said. We're tbplofftheshelf.com. You can hit us up via email, read this next at tbpl.ca. Watch our video on YouTube. You can find us on any podcast platform. Just search Read This Next. And we will see you all next week. Oh, I lied. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.